I need to say I love you again so that, it's on the record.
And I need to point out that you married a very strong-willed woman.
Yes. And we're snowed in. And we are.
Still
It's still
snowed in.
snowed in.
Yep.
That has not changed in the last 3 minutes.
No.
And we're supposed to get more snow.
More snow.
Yeah. So after this episode, I am going to attempt to upload all 3 episodes again, or 2 of them again, and this one for the first time to make sure that they all get up there. So, and I'm going to put a link to the YouTube channel in the information on my Twitch page.
And I'll share it on Facebook.
And I'm going to highlight it if you want to watch it on Twitch too.
I'm legitimately never on Twitter. So.
Yeah. Well,
it's a dumpster fire.
It is a dumpster fire.
And I work in a dumpster fire, so I just don't go on Twitter.
Yeah. Well,
they want in?
No. The other puppies are outside right now. I don't know what they're doing. They're probably
fighting or running around.
Yeah, they're probably rolling.
Combination of both.
Rolling in the snow or something.
We could have had it all.
But books.
Yes.
My book. I think I had previously said that there was some awesome things that don't happen until book 3. I was wrong. They take place in book 2. In the 2 chapters that I read for this week, we actually read our chapters for book club this morning. Because once again, you're not in the picture.
Oh, oops. I like to lean back.
I know.
Lean back. Sorry. Nope. I'll just lean forward.
Okay.
It's fine.
But since we're snowed in, we read this morning our 2 chapters each.
Because we spent yesterday running everywhere.
Yeah, we kind of did. And everywhere was a madhouse because it was going to snow and did snow today. So, and it's supposed to snow tomorrow as well. Yeah. So there's that. But do you want to talk about my chapters first?
Yeah. Let's cover. I think we decided you had more content to cover. I have more quotes to cover.
Well, yes. I have a couple quotes.
Or we both had the same, we both definitely have content, but you have more that happens.
Yeah, there is a lot.
And I just have more quotes because.
Yes, there is a lot that happens. In the 2 chapters I read actually aren't very long chapters, but there is a lot that happens. And
I love that. I love books when it's I don't know. I remember distinctly, I think it was called, it was something about dolphins. I cannot remember the name of this book. I'm going to have to look it up while you're talking about your book, and I will be paying attention, but I also need to look this up. Anyway, there were chapters where, because this main character had lived with dolphins her entire life, she spoke in very incomplete, broken sentences. But even in those chapters where she's speaking in the incomplete, broken sentences that were 2-3 pages, there was so much happening. Or
that's fair.
At least that's the way I remember it, because I feel like I read this when I was 11, maybe 10.
Okay.
But anyway,
That's cool.
So
That's cool. Okay. So if you remember last time what I was talking about, mine was the guys had just broken in, stolen the horn and the dagger, and they were making their escape. And the women were preparing they had already enacted their plan, and their plan was about halfway through. And they were getting ready to enact the second half of their plan. And what they didn't realize was the place that they were going to break into was right across the street from where the guys had just broken into and killed a member of the Imperial Court of the invaders.
Super quick. It's called The Music of Dolphins. It is a children's book, so that would explain why when I was,
Yeah.
I'm going to say between 9 and 12.
The Music of Dolphins?
The Music of Dolphins.
By who wrote
Karen Hesse.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay.
That is the book.
Okay.
Anyway, carry on. Sorry.
That's fair. So my 2 chapters start with the women enacting the second half of their escape, or their breakout plan, because they are there on a mission to save one of the main characters. Her name is Egwene. She turns out to possibly be the most important woman in the entire series. Arguable, obviously, because there are several very pivotal women in the entire series, but she is definitely one of them. But they are attempting to rescue her, and they break into the house. They get in. There's no problems. There are a couple problems, but when Egwene is freed from her captors, they are there, and she is switching out her clothes so that they can try to leave the building without drawing suspicion. One of her handlers comes into the room, and now that she is not on the leash thing, she bashes the woman in the side of the head with a clay pot, like a clay water pitcher. She bashes her in the side of the head, and then punches her in the stomach with it as well. Or it's the other way around. She either hits her in the stomach and then in the head, but she hits her with this pot, and she's obviously, mad about the entire situation where she was in captivity and tortured.
She unleashes.
Yeah, so she
hulks out.
Yeah, she pretty much does. So they are in the process of leaving. They are leaving the house. They get outside, and all of the commotion that the men have caused has caused all of the street vendors and the common people that would be milling about, going about their daily business in a bustling city like this, have cleared out. They're gone. And all the shops and everything are boarded up and closed up and shuttered and everything. And they can't figure out why. Yeah. And then they look up the street and they look down the street, and there's soldiers coming up either side of the street towards them. They think it's for them. They don't realize that the men have just killed a member of the imperial court and, robbed them of some very valuable things. And there's all kinds of commotion going on. They don't realize that. Once again, Egwene hulks out. She is, I said before, she's one of the women who can wield magic. She is one of the female wizards in this whole thing. You find out that she is possibly one of, if not the strongest one living at this time. Possibly Nynaeve is stronger than her, but the thing about Nynaeve is she has to be mad in order to use it, kind of like hulking out too. But
you won't like her when she's angry.
Exactly, yeah. She does some pretty awesome stuff.
Solid.
Yes. But during her captivity and training, the things they did to Egwene was essentially turn her into a weapon.
Okay.
Which is what these invaders from across the ocean do to women who can use magic. They turn them into weapons. So,
which is incidentally what they also do with the Hulk. So
yes. Yeah. You point them in a direction, and that's what they do. The problem is they don't know that the soldiers aren't there for them. Right. So when she hulks out, she blows up the street underneath of them and then starts calling down lightning to destroy these guys. Solid. The problem is that draws attention to them when they weren't even the main focus of all this attention. Nice. So in the process, fireballs start raining down from the sky from the actual people who know how to do that kind of thing, the invaders, to try to stamp them out. Now their focus is on them. This causes the guys to halt their escape. They have already made it out of the city, and they are trying to figure out and get a plan how they're going to get away from the city. Gotcha. And they turn around and see lightning striking from a sky that doesn't have a storm going on. And nice. They're like, oh, there's stuff going down in the city. And Rand has seen Egwene during their escape, and nobody else did. And he knows that's what's going on. He knows that's what's happening. The problem is, all of this is going on in the city. The guys are here. Let's do it this way. The city is here. Lightning, fireballs, magic destruction going on. The men are here. And back here, you have an army of the Children of Light, which are essentially Spanish Inquisitors.
Gotcha.
They consider all magic to be the work of people that are dark friends that have sworn themselves to the Dark One. Like anything like that is evil.
Right.
Not, they're the purists. This Inquisitor
Voldemort
type.
is definitely evil.
Yes.
So.
The problem is the men find them in between these two advancing armies, because the invaders in the city are pushing out of the city, and the White Cloaks are on their way in to the city. So the men find themselves sandwiched in between this, and they're not really sure how they're going to get out of this, right? Matt, being the individual that he is, has the horn that calls all the dead heroes back from the grave. And he goes, well, the prophecies just say that the horn has to be at the last battle. It doesn't mean that it can't be blown before the last battle. And nobody really argues with him. They just kind of sit there and don't do anything. And this is kind of really the first time in the series that you get the idea that there are all these prophecies about what should happen and what everybody thinks should happen, the way it should happen. And you're like, wait a minute, these are prophecies. You still have free will. You still have a little bit of control what's going on. So Matt he blows the horn and calls these heroes. The other important thing that has happened is that Ingtar, a gentleman who was with the guys helping them escape, has sacrificed himself at this point to let the guys get out of the city.
What in tarnation?
The reason is...
You didn't get that, did you?
No, I did not. You're going to have to explain that one.
You said his name was Intar. What intarnation?
Oh, my gosh. I-N-G.
What intarnation?
What intarnation? But, yeah, that was pretty good. I get it now. Yes. Okay, guys. Hi.
Come for the sass, stay for the dad jokes.
Yes. Hi. Okay. This is Loki.
Hi, guys. This is Loki. He has no concept of personal space.
What's up, Kondrev? Okay. Go lay down. No.
And he definitely lives up to his name.
Yes. Go lay down.
Hey, baby.
So, the problem with Ingtar doing this kind of thing is throughout this entire book, he has been focused on getting the horn back. Like, tunnel vision getting the horn back kind of thing. Like, obsessed with the horn. The reason for this is because you find out that he has been a dark friend all along. And he thinks that getting the horn...
You were up here.
And returning the horn to the main lady wizard, the head of the lady wizards, will in some way redeem him for this horrible thing that he has done. Because where he comes from, if they find out you're a dark friend, they kill you on the spot. They do not ask questions. They don't do it. He is from the borderlands, which are supposed to be holding off the Dark One.
Okay.
He decided, like, getting this horn back is his redemption, is what he thinks. You find out that he's a dark friend because he tells Rand that he is. And he says, let me do this thing and hold off this advancing army so you guys can escape. And Rand's like, no, don't do this for us. He's like, we can still get away. Yeah. And he says, no, you give me this because I don't know if, like, he's like, I don't know if redemption is possible for me, but this is the last thing I can do to get close to it. And I'm going to read you my first quote that I saved. This is possibly my favorite quote of the entire series. For years, I had thought it was, yes, Kondrev, he is a very charming puppy. He is. He's right. He's nice. When he's not being a jerk. Let's just say
He's
that.
really good when he's sleeping.
Yeah, he's really sweet when he's
You're
sleeping
good
on your
all
lap.
the time, aren't
Yeah.
you, Dusty? Aren't you, Dusty? Oh, he's a good boy. He's good boys.
All right, sorry, your quote.
My quote, and I have been attributing this quote to the wrong person for years because I had forgotten who said it. But Ingtar says this.
Hashtag fake fan.
Fake fan. Ingtar says this to Rand to try to convince him to let him stay behind, right? No man can walk so long in the shadow, capital S, that he cannot come again to the light, capital L. And that is supposedly, he's saying that no man can walk so long in the darkness of being an evil person that he can't come back to the light of the Creator, is essentially what he is saying here. And that convinces Rand that, you know, he hopes that there is some redemption, so he allows Ingtar to do this thing. Mm-hmm. Rand's response is fantastic. And it is another fantastic quote, and it contains a blessing from, like, the cultural blessing from where Ingtar is actually from, the borderlands of the world. The light shine on you, and may you shelter in the palm of the Creator's hand. The last embrace of the mother welcome you home. And this is essentially telling him to go walk in the light until you sacrifice yourself. The mother welcome you home is what they would say to them whenever they knew that there was no way they were getting out, they were going to die with whatever happened, right? So that's what they tell them, and it's a blessing type thing, and it's just a very awesome thing. So the guys get out, and the last thing that they hear from Ingtar is him... Oh, Loki. They hear him screaming his family name, egging the guys on to come fight him. And he is not going down easily. And he is at a strategic pinch point where he is a master swordsman. He is a lifelong soldier, so he is holding them off quite well. So, catch up. The guys find themselves sandwiched. Mat has blown the horn. And this brings back the 100 individuals who are bound to the horn. These people are bound to the horn, and they are bound to the cycle of time and the pattern. Meaning they get spun back out as like reincarnation, kind of. They get spun out. They are bound to it forever. So all these people come back, and he knows all their names, even though he has never physically met any of these people. Right. Most of these people have died 1,000 years before he was even born. He knows all of them, but Arthur Hawkwing, the most famous, and coincidentally the descendant or the ancestor of the people who have come back across the ocean as invaders. He sent people across the ocean when he was ruler, and they populated the western side and came back. So his descendants are now fighting in the city. And he fights against his descendants, which is kind of interesting. But he calls Rand by his name, which is Lews Therin, which is the dragon. Yeah. And all of these people... They ask Rand, "What are we doing? You have blown the horn. What are we doing here? What's going on? Sometimes when the horn is blown, we come back, we fight with you. Sometimes when the horn is blown, we come back and we fight against you." Just kind of reiterating the whole cyclical thing of time there. Loki, get out from under the desk. Get. And he says, "We got to go down into the city. You're going to find people to kill. You need to help me, and we need to save Egwene." At this point, Rand's focus is saving Egwene. He doesn't know that the other women are there. He just wants to save Egwene, but he is pretty sure whatever's happening is because of Egwene, so that's what he wants to do.
Where is he?
And he's
They're
behind
back there.
your chair.
They're both back here. Okay.
So
Loki, leave the printer alone.
So they they decide that that's what they're going to do. And the second to last quote I have is from one of the people that gets. It's a woman. Her name is Brigitte. I spelled it wrong, but it's Brigitte Silverbow.
Okay.
She is one of the individuals bound to the horn. And Rand says, guys, hurry up. We need to get down into the city. We don't have any time. Her response to that is, time? We have all of time. These are 100 individuals who are bound to the horn and are, have forever to do what they do. And I just thought that was interesting. So they start to charge towards the city. Matt is essentially the bugler for the charge on the horn that has called all these people back from the grave. And Perrin is the bannerman. He chopped down a small tree and got out the banner that has a dragon symbol on it, the banner of the dragon reborn. And the Archer Hawkwing told him, we can't ride until you fly that banner. And this is really the first time where Rand admits, crap, maybe I actually am the dragon reborn. Because for everyone in the past 1,000 years who has done that, it has been a death sentence. Spoiler, he is the dragon reborn. He makes it to the end, just to let you know. So they charge, and halfway on their charge, Balzamon shows up, who is the Forsaken. He is the strongest Forsaken. He's also the most crazy, coincidentally. However, Rand thinks this is the Dark One. He thinks it's the Dark One himself. They are fighting. They are having a sword fight. Balzamon has essentially a quarterstaff, a big staff that he is using. Rand is using his sword. But what Rand finds out is they're no longer on the ground. They are in the sky fighting. And when he looks down, he can see the heroes from the Horn are fighting against the Sanshan, the invaders. Whenever Rand starts winning, the Sanshan are pushed back towards the sea.
Okay.
When Balzamon starts winning, the battle goes the other direction. So Rand is figuring out, crap, in his mind, I have to kill the Dark One in order for my friends to live during this battle. What's interesting, though, is, you know how I told you that the people turned the magic into weapons? That magic can't touch the people who are bound to the horn.
Okay.
So they're charging through lightning and fireballs and just killing and not really worrying about it, which is pretty awesome. Rand comes to the conclusion that the only way he is going to beat him, is going to kill him, is he's going to use a sword fighting maneuver referred to as sheathing the sword. I told you about this. Was it yesterday we talked about this?
I think it was yesterday.
Yeah. Essentially what you do is you open yourself up to an attack so that your enemy strikes you with their sword or their spear, and it therefore allows you an opportunity to strike your opponent. Balzamon takes this opportunity, stabs Rand with the spear, and then Rand takes that opportunity and stabs him in the heart with his sword. However, my last quote is what Rand uses to provoke him to do this type of thing, but essentially piss him off enough that he'll actually fall for this, right? Rand says this. You have to remember, he uses the name here, Father of Lies. That's another name for the Dark One. Rand still thinks this is the Dark One himself and not actually a Forsaken. I will never serve you, Father of Lies. In 1,000 lives, I never have. I know that. I'm sure of it. Come, it is time to die. And that's what pisses Balzamon off enough to strike him. And Rand kind of thinks that this is possibly not the Dark One, because the Dark One wouldn't be scared of a sword, wouldn't be scared of getting hit by a sword. So he decides on using this maneuver, and he uses this to piss him off.
Okay.
That's where it ends. The chapter ends with Rand stabbing him in the heart. can't remember how it is worded exactly of what it says. Drove the heron-marked blade, which essentially having a heron on your blade means you're a blade master,
Okay.
into Balzamon's heart. Balzamon screamed, and the dark behind him screamed. The world exploded in fire. And that's the end of the chapter. So it kind of leaves you hanging, but there are 2 chapters left in the book, 48 and 49, and they are super short chapters. Well, chapter 50... Okay, chapter 50, but it's like 1 page, half a page at best, and then there's a prophecy. But there is what? Interestingly enough, look at what page number that all takes place on, that Rand stabs who he thinks is the Dark One. That takes place on page 666, which is interesting. I don't know if they planned that or not, but that's kind of weird. But yeah, that's where it ends. So there's 2 chapters left and half a page left in this book. Rand thinking he has killed the Dark One. And spoiler alert, he did not. And spoiler alert, Balzamon is not dead either. One of the perks, drawbacks, if you want to call it that, of being one of the Forsaken, being a Dark Friend, is that you have sold your soul to the Dark One, and he is the master of death. So even if you die, he can bring you back. With one caveat. There is one caveat, but I'm not going to spoil what that caveat is. That's a discussion for a lot later on.
Is it a different book entirely?
Yes, but it has to do with using a certain piece of magic.
Oh.
Yes.
Like dark magic.
You could call it that because it is not pretty what it does. Yes.
I mean, calling it ugly magic isn't as sinister, so.
Right. Yeah. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you got She-Hulk and the boys, or?
Yeah, and while
That sounds like a really good name for a band. She-Hulk and the boys. If you come up with a band with that name, I would like credit. Thank you.
Yeah, and while all this is going on, the women, let's see, Nynaeve, Elaine, Min, and Egwene, and of those 4, 3 of them, except for Min, are all able to wield magic. Oh. And they are mad, and they are destroying things. So that's also taking place while all this horn blowing and everything is going on and fighting in the streets. They're still doing their thing too. So in the final 2 chapters, I think, is the aftermath of all this, and you find out, interestingly enough, kind of a, in my opinion, small nod.
Just came in here to fart and
He
leave.
probably did. He came in here to fart and then leave. It sure smells like he did.
It definitely smells like it. Thank you, Loki.
Right, Condrav? I highly recommend reading the series if you haven't already. It is a gigantic undertaking if you want to. But kind of a ode to Tolkien. The wound that Rand receives from this spear, it never fully heals. The magic wielders,
my boy Frodo.
The magic wielders in this world are able to heal things, and they do heal it, but it's always with him. It's always painful. It's always there. Gotcha. A la Frodo getting stabbed in the shoulder.
Well, I remember the Frodo part.
So, yes. So, hopefully,
we'll probably finish that book tonight.
I could, yes.
I could probably finish my book tonight. I'm not going to lie, it might happen.
Yeah.
I mean...
Yes, and I may actually finish it tonight so that I can move right on to Chronicles of Narnia for next week.
Yeah. You know, that's on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe.
Mm-hmm. And there are actually 2 versions of those movies. There's an old version that was done back in the days of VHS.
I'm not picking my nose. I just got my nose pierced, and it feels really weird because I can feel this in my nose. Anyway, sorry.
Yes.
I figured I'd explain just because I keep touching it.
No, she's not picking her nose. No, she has a new piercing. As of
last night.
Like 24 hours ago-ish, essentially. Yeah. You need to move in. There you go.
Better?
Yes.
Okay.
Now you're in the shot.
I'm
Yes,
in the
Condriv. Chronicles of Narnia is my next, is what I'm going to read after this book. Because I am not going to do all 14 books. Because that would take forever.
You're not doing all 14 of these books?
No.
Okay.
No, not for book club. Not.
That's fair.
Maybe.
You know what? How about this?
Maybe if I started at the beginning.
After you read Narnia and I finish this
Yeah.
one, we will find a book that we both like and we can read it together.
Okay.
I like that idea.
You know, I have never read the Harry Potter series.
We are reading Harry Potter.
Okay. If we read the same 2 chapters, maybe 3
What?
chapters.
Who birthed you? Like you've never read Harry Potter? This man had never seen Anastasia or The Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Okay. Just
I-
calm down.
I'm
calm
like,
down.
it's a travesty.
I just never watched them.
Anastasia's a classic.
I know
And
it
now
is.
she's a Disney princess.
Okay. I just never watched it.
Well,
I just never took the time to watch it.
I mean, they're not necessary. I mean, as to whether or not they're kids' movies is kind of questionable.
Yeah, Anastasia was pretty dark.
And The Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Yeah. There's a lot to unpack there. Yeah.
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 Anyway,
So yeah, we can read Harry Potter. I just never got to reading Harry Potter. It's not that I never wanted to.
I have the illustrated and the not illustrated.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
works for me.
Okay. But
Anyway, sorry.
your book.
My
Your
book. I'm gonna show it here again because he's pretty. Sorry, move my arm. It's called Scandalous by L.J. Shen. So I read the next 2 chapters, which were chapters. I gotta find it. 3 and 4. Yeah, 3 and 4. So super quick recap. Edie, our female, I'm gonna call her the protagonist for lack of a better word. Female protagonist is this mysterious guy named Theo that she really wants to take care of. Her father is a what did she call Jason Collier? Syphilis on a stick. And if you haven't heard about Jason Collier, sidebar, go find out because that's a wormhole you will never come out of. Anyway, so her father is awful. We have Trent, who is
Right, Contrast.
so anyway,
Oh my gosh. Let me see if I can make
her father is awful. Trent is amazing. I really, really, really love Trent. I love the way that Trent interacts with his daughter Luna. Luna does not talk, and of course that very much affects Trent in even his day-to-day like interactions with other people. They call him the mute. So in these next 2 chapters, you find out more about Edie's world. You find out more about Trent's world.
Okay.
Edie goes to work with her dad. There's a really interesting back and forth between Edie and Trent and her father. And it ends up being one of those things where you meet Vicious, and his name is not Vicious. That's like the nickname,
Just
of
his
course.
nickname? Okay. That's...
Baron Spencer is his name. They call him Vicious.
Wait, his first name is Baron?
Baron, yeah. So
I feel
anyway.
like that's going to do something to you as a child.
Well, yeah. So he's a douche. Like he is awful.
Is he a douche canoe?
Douche nozzle. I
Ooh,
mean,
he's a douche nozzle.
big one.
Okay. Okay.
So there's Baron. I'm trying to think. There's Baron. There's Dean. I don't know. There's another one. I can't remember his name. And there's Trent. And they're the 4 hot holes of All Saints High School. Or at least they were back when they were in high school.
You're going to have to explain hot holes.
They call them hot holes. That is all I know to this point. But anyway,
I'm glad this is an adult-friendly stream here.
You know, it's funny.
Well, syphilis on a stick should have been any indication of that. So, you know.
So anyway, Trent is not happy that Edie is working at the company. And of course, as we recall, it is because Edie stole Trent's mom's purse.
Right. Yeah.
So Trent gets pissed. Sorry, Trent gets upset.
You can say it.
All right, cool. Well, Trent gets pissed.
Okay.
And I think his
Okay. Loki needs to go out, so I will be right back.
this chapter 3 is told from Edie's point of view. So of course she doesn't know what Trent's thinking. And Trent is talking to Edie's father, whose name is Jordan. And he says, well, with all due respect to white upper-class nepotism and awarding your underqualified daughter with a job most deserving candidates would kill for, every major HR decision goes through all of the partners, correct? And if you don't remember, Jordan and Trent and his 3 other friends, they all own the company. Jordan has 49% of the stake in the company. The other 4 have the other 50%. So, like, it's divided.
Okay.
Not evenly. Jordan has a majority share.
Okay.
So that just, it really killed me because Trent is biracial. Like, he admits he's biracial. So that whole, with all due respect to white upper class nepotism, I'm just like, okay, sir. Guess you decided to go there. Edie is watching him. Edie is just like, holy cow, this man is gorgeous. This man is also just a giant, I don't know, giant jerk. I'm going to go with that because
Okay,
that's a little cleaner than
Yeah,
what she really
yeah.
calls him. But yeah, she, like, even watching through Edie's eyes, this interaction between Baron Vicious Spencer and an employee who was inconsequential and you never see him again.
Right.
It's just like, these are you assume at the outset, like, these are 4 boys who were just like, let's start a company. And of
Okay.
course, and it became a very wildly successful company.
Okay.
And as each of the 4 men, except for Trent, who ended up just getting a daughter with a stripper because, yeah.
Exotic dancer.
Yes, you, anyway, you basically assume that these are 4 super privileged guys. You
Right,
find out
yeah.
that that's true of 3 of them, right? Like,
Okay.
3 of them are, Trent had to go to state school, Trent had to, he,
The travesty
well,
of
and
state
in their
school.
world, like,
In
state,
their world,
state
yeah.
school is a bad thing. Like, Edie doesn't humble brags, I would say, about getting into 5 Ivy League colleges. Not because of her grades, but because her father is who he is. So it is definitely one of those poor little
She
rich
got there on a green ride.
Yeah. But she did not get, like, she did not go.
Okay.
There we go. I have all their names now. Sorry. Baron Spencer, Dean Cole, Jamie Followhill, and the man of the hour, Trent Rexroth.
Rexroth?
Rexroth.
Oh,
I actually really
man.
like that kind of last name. You know,
Ooh.
it makes him more
Is
appealing.
Trent the one who's not entitled? Not privileged?
Trent is the one that is not entitled, not privileged. His parents, you know,
Man, that
I said
last
he went
name,
to
though.
state school, right?
Yeah.
She also mentions that he worked his way through school by being a janitor.
Okay.
So, like, he really did started from the bottom. Now we're here. Like,
Yeah.
this is
Well,
that is
with
who that man
with a
is.
last name like Rexroth, though, that in America that just sounds like it's an expensive name, if you want
Yeah.
to say it that way. Right, Kondrev? Yeah,
So
with a first name like Baron, you expect that person maybe comes
Yeah.
from a wealthy family.
yes. So the other quote that, it's not quote so much as like a situation that I really enjoyed is in that first chapter when Edie steals Trent's mom's purse.
Okay.
He's walking away and he says, you know, if you have one of these, maybe it'll make you feel better. He gave her a Snickers. He threw a Snickers, like, have a Snickers. You're not you when you're hungry.
Oh my gosh.
Like, that's super hilarious. So in here,
Literally a TV commercial.
yes. So Trent and Edie have, like, super witty, supercharged banter. I tried to say, I almost said Bamford. Get out of my head. Anyway, So they have like a super witty, but it's super like sexually charged banter. Just
Don't
take
need
me
to
out.
yell. It's okay.
Anyway, and as she's leaving to go find her desk, she says, "You're a miserable man. Oh, and one for the road." And she hands him a Nature Valley bar
Oh my god.
and walks away. So she also like
Which a Nature Valley bar is like a granola bar,
those
right?
granola bars, like
The super crumbly
super
ones.
crumbly ones.
Yes,
Yeah.
okay.
So
Okay.
in chapter 4, you know, we learn more about Trent. Trent is actually he follows his therapist's advice, brings his daughter to work. I think he says every Tuesday they come in, but she comes in with him and the nanny. The nanny's name is Camilla. I'm gonna go with Camilla. It sounds about right.
Okay.
Yeah, the nanny's name is Camilla. One of the other interesting things that happens in this chapter, like right at the beginning, before we jump to Trent with his daughter and Camilla, is he takes one of Edie's shoes and snaps the heel off because they're having one of their other supercharged banters again. And
Yeah.
So
Like he snaps the heel off
he
a pair of
snaps
stilettos.
the heel off of a pair of Christian Louboutins, and I realize that like only one of us understands what those are. They are super expensive shoes. One day I will have a pair.
Okay.
And that's all you need to know about
Okay.
them. So anyway, he snaps the heel off of it. They go back and forth, and he vows, like, you know, mentally, because chapter 4 is told from his point of view, like, she's never getting a job here.
Yeah.
So we jump to him bringing his daughter in. He sees Edie again. And he's very attracted to her. Like, he acknowledges, you know, she's cool, or not cool. She's cute.
Yeah.
And he's talking about, like, you know, how she looks in this specific dress she's wearing. And he says, "Whoa, backtrack this fast, Sir Pervolot." And I don't know why, but it just made me laugh because
Sir Pervolot?
because he understands that this is a no-go. She's 18. She's 18. He's 33. I would probably be upset because, you know, I'm 33 and that's just gross to me, but you know, whatever. We're going to go with it. Yeah. Trent and Jordan have another like back and forth, and he basically just leaves him in the conference room for no other reason than like he likes to upset Jordan. So he leaves him in the conference room. But in doing this, he sees Edie interacting with his daughter Luna.
Okay.
And something that just really struck me was, you know, Edie hugs Camilla because Camilla was also Edie's nanny. But then he sees Edie kind of get down on Luna's level, and he sees them interact. And it's the way he paints it, it's the cutest. Edie crouches down, and she runs her hand over, he says she ran her hand over Luna's curly pigtails and smiled, and almost in slow motion, she pointed at Luna's fluffy blue seahorse, her mouth forming an O-shaped wow. And then, you know, he watches more of the interaction. Edie apparently asks Luna a question, and he sees Luna nod. And to, like, for a girl that doesn't talk, like, that type of nonverbal communication is a really big thing.
Yeah.
He even says she never nodded. So it's just one of those things where he's like, oh, crap. She's a human. She understands. She gets my kid. She sees my kid. She understands my kid.
Yeah.
My kid is responding to this person that I hate.
Yeah.
So he goes into the meeting with Jamie, Vicious, what did I say? What was the other one? Dean and Jordan. And he swears, like, I'm not gonna let this girl in this company. Lo and behold, they take a vote, and Trent's like, yep, I want her on board. I think because at this point, like, I already know what happens in here. So I think that it's at this point because he thinks, like, if I bring Luna in and she interacts with Edie, that'll get her to open up more.
Okay.
So
It's more of a, not necessarily because he wants Edie working there, but he wants Luna to
he wants Luna to
open
have
up.
somebody to open up to.
Gotcha.
And yeah, so he gives his vote of yes, and he says, Vicious blinked, giving me his what the F is your game look. Yes means you vote for her employment, he explained slowly, like I was an idiot. And in response, Trent says, I know what yes means, dickbag. Like, the conversations, the rapport between these guys, like, their friendship is one where they are just, like, they're like that with each other.
Yeah. They're gonna
so
call. They call you every time.
Every Sunday.
Every Sunday
So,
at this time.
They're
Exactly.
having their own book
Condrav.
club, so.
Spicy.
So,
You gotta love colorful insults like that.
Yeah.
Like colorful descriptive insults like that. Oh man.
yeah, so he's talking about their friendship, and he says, nearly 20 years and counting, we were still blindly loyal toward one another. So when Trent gives his yes that, like, Edie can stay on board, everybody else is like, whatever, I'll do it too.
Okay.
They end the meeting with just like okay. Now, yeah, Dean says, now if you'll excuse me, I need to call my wife. She had a doctor's appointment today. Mazel tov. And just walks off. They also call Edie's dad. Edie's dad's name is Jordan. They call him Jordy because it pisses him off. Like, these are 4 grown men who are just like, you know what? Let's toy with the old man today. Let's see what happens.
Yeah.
Like, it's just hilarious.
Nice.
I mean, he does admit that, like, you know, Jordan's a giant racist too. So like, he believes that part of Jordan's issue with him is the fact that he is half black.
Yeah.
So there's that playing in here too. Yeah. Yeah, their conversations are great. And Trent really holds his own against Jordan, who, like, Edie, to hear Edie describe him, he's just this menacing person. Don't mess with him because it's easier.
Avoid the situation.
Avoid the situation. Don't piss him off.
Fair.
And Trent kind of goes out of his way to piss him off.
Well, I mean,
So Jordan very clearly and you know, no holds barred says, stay away from my daughter. They go back and forth and Jordan basically says, like, you never acknowledged me when I said stay away from my daughter. And Trent says, I've got your acknowledgement right here, sir. And he says, I showed him my 2 middle fingers. Like, Trent is...
fantastic.
That's why they call him the hot holes of All Saints High.
Yeah.
It's not because of anything dirty, even though I'm sure there's dirty stuff to do with that too, but they're the 4 hot holes of All Saints High. Okay. They ruled the school. For Vicious, it was a sport.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly, Vicious got knocked down a few pegs because he met a girl who met him, you know, wit for wit. So anyway, I am enjoying it. Of course I know what happens, but I'm enjoying it because I'm enjoying going back and reading and being like, I forgot about this line.
Yeah.
Or like, I just forgot about how well they interacted with each other. Like, LJ Shen, I love the way she writes, and you know, they carried on similar conversations in the other books too. But I really I love the way that she writes these relationships, because there is the chemistry between Edie and Trent, but there's also the relationships between Trent and his 3 other friends. And it just, to read it, it's just like you're in the middle of it. You're watching this conversation happen. Yeah. So, yeah, I really enjoy it. I'm really enjoying watching, you know, Trent make Edie's father squirm. Like, that's amazing. Especially because
calls him the name just because it makes him mad. Yeah.
Especially because, like, you know, in Edie's chapter, she talks about the fact that, like, her dad manhandles her. And I mean, that's a really poor choice of words when we're talking about a relationship between a father and a daughter. But she very clearly says, like, my father will grab my arm and hold tight, or, you know, my father, you know, she even says, like, my father learned the art of manhandling me when I was, you know, when I was first a teenager.
Yeah.
And she also admits that, like, she doesn't want to be there because she wants to be with,
Yeah.
you know, she wants to be out surfing. But she also acknowledges that, like, if she doesn't take this job and if she doesn't do what her father says, he could keep her away from Theo. We still don't know who he is.
Okay. Move forward a little bit. There you go.
So, yeah,
Yeah.
I love it. It's great.
Yeah.
There's chemistry between Edie and Trent already, but there's also just the friendship between Trent and his three friends, who, like, none of them are afraid to call each other on their stuff. Like, they are all very much like,
They call each other out if they need
Trent
to.
even says that at one part, like, you know, when he says, like, yes to Edie's employment with the firm, he says that Baron gives him a look of, like, don't sleep with this girl.
That's great.
They understand each other.
Yeah,
And, like,
yeah.
it's pretty rare to see something like that where you can paint a relationship between guys and have it be authentic.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I give props
feel,
to her
I
for...
feel like that's a really difficult thing to actually write. I mean, it's so much easier to it's so much easier to show that kind of thing in, like, video or
It
on
is.
screen.
It's easier to see it on screen. It's
Yeah.
really difficult to write. And
And I really feel like that even when it comes to that, it's a difficult thing to actually act unless the actors are very good or they are actually friends in real life too.
Right, yeah.
Like that, banter is a much easier thing, like, for people who stream with each other on Twitch and things like that. Yeah, but writing it down so that when you read it, that's the sense you get, that's not a very easy thing to do.
Yeah. LJ Shen is just a brilliant writer all around. Like, I
Yeah.
even love the other books. It's just that this one is my favorite.
Yeah.
And it's because of Trent's relationship with his daughter.
Yeah.
And of course it is because of the love story too, because you watch these two people who just hate each other. Like, they hate each other. And you watch that hate turn into something that's more than that. I mean,
Would you call it scandalous? It's the title of the book, though.
yeah, I know. I married you on purpose.
Yes, yes, you did. Thank you, Kondrav.
Don't encourage this behavior. No. I have to stay with him when we log off of here.
We do, in fact, live together. So, Yeah.
I'll leave you on the couch with Chesty tonight. Anyway, so next week I will have 2 more I might have that whole book done if I end up staying home. Which, if we get as much snow as they're calling for, I will be home. So, yeah.
Yeah.
I will at least have 2 chapters done, if not the whole thing.
Okay.
And if I do have the whole thing done, I'll just write down the big points and summarize it.
and I am definitely going to finish my book, because the 3rd chapter, well, you saw it, is half a page.
Yeah.
It's
just
not.
go ahead and finish it. Yeah.
It's literally half a page of setup for book 3, and then another half a page of a prophecy that pertains to the Dragon Reborn.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah.
So.
Yeah, I don't know that I will start Chronicles of Narnia this week, just because of this week. But I will finish this book and, try to explain maybe some of the bigger things that happen in the Wheel of Time after this. If you don't want spoilers, I guess don't listen next week, or don't listen to my half of it, at least. But I mean, you've had since 1989, 1990 to read these books, so I guess
They may not have heard of them.
no, it's fair.
I had never heard of them until I met you.
No, it's fair. It's fair. Maybe I'll avoid spoilers if I can.
Good call.
So
Good call.
Yeah. But as for my stream on Wednesday,
TBD.
TBD. If you don't know what is going on, check my Discord, which the link is right there, actually, in chat. So go to Discord, read what's going on there for an update on why I might not be streaming Wednesday. But if I do stream on Wednesday is when I'm going to do the thing with the naming of a character thing. I've determined if I do it, that's when it's going to happen.
Okay.
So that will be... It really depends what kind of shape I'm in for streaming, essentially.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
I get it.
Yeah. So the next time you might see me might be book club next weekend, next Sunday. So
He'll
we will
tweet.
see.
He'll
We will
let you
see.
know.
Yeah, I will put it in Discord. I will tweet about it on Wednesday to let y'all know if I'm still going to do it. But yes, the YouTube channel as well.
Oh yeah.
After this, once this has been recorded and everything, I'm going to upload all 3 of the episodes that we have done for book club to my new YouTube channel, and I will also put a link to the YouTube channel in the information at the bottom below the Twitch channel here in my info and everything, so be able to go back and watch them there. If you don't want to watch them on Twitch, that I am highlighting them all on Twitch, so you can watch them there if you want to.
Are you comfy?
So you guys can't see this, but Ira is laying across our collective laps right now, like just sprawled out across.
I guess he's comfy.
He's comfy, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you don't want to watch the videos on Twitch, you can watch them on YouTube. Probably later tonight they will all be up, so we will see. So, do you want to sign out with your...
Stay rock and roll, kids.